Hello everyone. We all are hearing about the increase in the food prices because of COVID. But do you know the way a country defines its agricultural policy impacts food pricing too? Let us see who makes these agricultural policies. Before the year 2000, the central government used to outline the agricultural policies in their 5-year plans. The central government did not have any explicit agricultural policy then. But after 2000, the first ever comprehensive national agricultural policy was introduced. The Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare, under the guidance of the Niti Aayog, provides the broad guidelines for the agricultural policy. However, the implementation is the responsibility of state governments. Many other institutions are involved in the implementation, which makes our agricultural policy very complex. Niti Aayog was earlier called as the Planning Commission. Niti Aayog has replaced the 5-year plans with 3-year action plans, 7-year strategy plans, and 15-year vision plans. You must be wondering, why are we focusing so much on the agricultural policies? You must know that agriculture is the backbone of Indian economy. It is a key factor in terms of its contribution to both employment and GDP. It contributes 17.4% to the GDP and a massive 47% to employment. Now let us see the evolution of agricultural policies in India post-independence. Evolution of agricultural policies is a very complex topic, and I do not want to bore you with the finer details. However, I will concisely walk you through it. After India's independence in 1947, the growth of agricultural output was achieved mainly by expanding the area under cultivation. By mid-60s, the scope for further expanding the area under cultivation was limited. This saw the advent of the Green Revolution, which we all know about. The Green Revolution raised crop productivity through improved crop technologies and high-yield variety seeds, thanks to M.S. Swaminathan. Also, institutions like Food Corporation of India were set up to regulate the prices and distribution of wheat and rice. By 1980s, new financial institutions such as NABARD and regional rural banks were set up to provide credit for agriculture. The Green Revolution was extended to grow additional crops such as pulses and oil. 1990s saw liberalization, privatization, and globalization, LPG as it is shortly called. Oh, we do not have a picture here. Yes friends, it is because LPG left the agricultural sector untouched. 2000s saw the introduction of the National Agriculture Policy, which I just spoke about. Poor growth of agriculture during the 90s led to the advent of this comprehensive policy. By the way, have you heard about the Agricultural Growth Enabling Index? It is an indicator to assess agricultural's enabling environment in a given country. The overall score for India is slightly above average, which means the policymakers have plenty of room for improvement. I hope by now you have an idea about the agricultural policies. Now let me tell you how we measure the food prices. In India, the Central Statistics Office uses Consumer Food Price Index, that is CFPI, to measure the change in retail prices of food products. Globally, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations uses the Food Price Index, FPI, to measure the change in retail prices of food products globally. The graph here shows that CFPI and FPI are moving in tandem. But note that CFPI and FPI have different composition. Let us now see the key factors in an agricultural policy that directly or indirectly influence food pricing. The first factor is minimum support prices. The government guarantees a minimum support price or floor price to farmers, which covers not only the cost of production but also ensures a reasonable profit margin. The second key factor in an agricultural policy is the credit to farmers. In India, there is an immense need for proper agricultural credit as Indian farmers are very poor. To ease the farmers, the government provides subsidy not only on fertilizer, seed and water, but also on electricity, machine and equipment. This ensures that whatever the farmers need is accessible and affordable. The other key factor is that there is no income tax on agricultural produce, which I would say is a big relief to the farmers. In present scenario, any discussion would be incomplete without mentioning the impact of COVID. Our government has brought many agricultural reforms, which is a part of the 20 lakh crore lockdown relief package. The first key reform is the removal of the stock limit on agricultural commodities. Because of the stock limit, farmers suffered huge losses even when they were bumper harvest. The second key reform is the e-trading platform that will help the farmers to sell their produce directly to entities of their choice instead of being confined to state mandis. The farmers are now offered a legal framework for contract farming, where farmers and buyers enter into contracts which assures the farmer of a certain price at the time of sowing, while the buyer gets to procure the harvested produce at the pre-decided rate. Because of timing constraint, I will not further delve into the reforms of the relief package, but we are hopeful that the reforms will ensure price stability. To summarize, in this video, we saw who makes the agricultural policies, why should we care for them, the evolution of agricultural policies post-independence, how we measure food prices, factors in a policy that impacts food prices, and the agricultural reform that is a part of the 20 lakh crore relief package. I hope you found this video helpful and you do not need to click the bell icon or subscribe to my channel. Thank you.